Okay, DC, now you're getting scary good right now. So I just saw Joker, and I gotta say, the last couple of DC movies have really impressed me. I really liked what they did with Aquaman. I really like Shazam. Shazam, I think, is still one of my favorite movies of the year. And with Joker, this is another movie that could be a really good contender for one of the best movies of the year. I really enjoyed this movie a whole lot, and largely it's because of Joaquin Phoenix. In terms of the best Jokers, like to me, there's two great Jokers: Mark Hamill in Batman the Animated Series, and Heath Ledger in The Dark Knight. If I had to put a third one in there, Joaquin Phoenix in this movie would definitely be that guy. He is terrific in this film. He gives this great, chilling, intense, terrifying performance in this movie, and he really puts his all into it. He's the reason why this movie works as well as it does. Like I think he gives one of the best performances of his career in this movie. Is He's just great in this movie. Like he's disturbing. But at the same time, you do kind of feel for him because life gives him such a shitty way of going in this movie. Like he gets beat up a lot in this movie, and I don't want to say that you fully understand what he's doing because he's the bad guy, but you kind of see why he's kind of turning into this bad guy in here because life has just been so shitty to him in this throughout the film. Like he's been lied to his whole life. He gets beat up by all kinds of people, kids, Wall Street guys. So you kind of have to understand why he's going through this, but at the same time, you have to remember he's the bad guy. You're not supposed to root for this type of bad guy like this. And of course, saying that I'm trying to say this without sounding like I'm in support of him or anything, because I'm not. Because of course, there's the whole thing about potentially some violence coming from this movie from after like all the movie theater shootings and all that kind of stuff in the past and all that. But yeah, at the same time, you kind of agree with what he's doing, but you have to also remember that what he's doing is completely wrong. But yeah, Joaquin Phoenix in this movie is terrific in this film. He's one of the best things about the film. The movie itself is really good. Like I like the gritty visual style that they have in here, trying to recapture like the '70s, early '80s style of filmmaking. Like it's hard to tell when this movie was actually supposed to be set in because it has that '70s feel, but there are things from like the 1980s, like Blowout was I think was '81, and Wolfen I think was '81 as well. Maybe it's just that, but yeah, there. I like the gritty visual style. The music I thought was very good. I like the way they incorporated like the older songs into this. Uh, Todd Phillips. He's been saying a lot of like weird stuff. He's been not weird stuff. He's been like talking a lot of shit. But you know what? I'll give him this. He made one of the most enjoyable films of his career since the first Hangover movie. So, I mean, I guess he wins on that front. In terms of the violence, it doesn't really get incredibly violent. There's like three parts in this whole movie where it gets like really violent, and even the first time it's where he beats up the Wall Street guys, and that's what kind of starts his dissension into evil. The real gritty stuff doesn't happen until the third act, like when he kills the guy that gave him a gun, and that's what caused him to get fired from his job as a children's performer. And then he just stabs him with scissors, and it gets gritty and violent and all that kind of stuff. And then towards the end, the big scene that's kind of like a homage to the talk show scene in The Dark Knight Returns comics in the movie, where he kills the talk show host. Those are about the only really gritty scenes of violence in this movie. Kind of over the top, but at the same time, you do feel the effect. Like you feel like this is disturbing. This is all kinds of weird and all that kind of stuff. And I think as the flowing story goes, it's not quite as flowing as I think it would have been. There are definitely a lot of moments where they kind of jump into random different points of the film, but you're still invested in how this is going to all transpire in the end, like what it's building up to, and what it builds up to at the end. I think is really a really good climax. Like it fits right into what you'd expect from the Joker. Like the great thing about the Joker is that he could just kill you. He could just kill you right off the bat, but nope. He wants to simmer. He wants it to simmer. Like he wants it to slowly build, like a dance, like a big performance and all that. Like because that's what he is. Because you definitely get those vibes in this movie. And when when the big thing happens at the end, that kind of like starts the whole anarchy thing and all that kind of stuff. It fits to what you'd expect from the Joker himself. Like it works for that. for what they're trying to do here. I am kind of curious about how this is going to play into the new Batman movie with Robert Pattinson. Are they going to connect this movie to that, or is it going to be like Venom, where it's like it's a completely different story and all that? But I don't even think you could do that because Bruce Wayne is in this movie, and as is Thomas Wayne, and they even do the thing at the end where they kill his parents in the alley. But I am curious to see how that's going to work when they do the new Batman movie with Robert Pattinson in a couple of years. So that'll be interesting to see right there. I really enjoyed this movie. I think it's a terrific film. It's probably one of my favorite movies of the year. Probably one of my favorite movies that DC has done in a while now. I think it's a very good film. It does get a little bit pretentious sometimes. Sometimes it goes a little too over the top for its own good. But overall, it's a really enjoyable movie. I had a really good time with it. I'd probably go see it again, definitely. And what else do I want to say about this movie? I will say though that I think the protest and the controversies behind it are a little too much, but considering what's happened with other Batman movies in the past, The Dark Knight Rises or the Aurora shooting for that one, you can kind of understand. But besides 3 scenes in the movie, it's not really all overly violent. It is very disturbing, though. I guess that's one thing that you could kind of put to that side of the argument there. But for the most part, yeah, I enjoyed the movie. I would definitely see it again. Probably one of my favorite movies of the year so far, but I probably would need to see it again to really understand, to really put that into perspective. Plus, we still got 3 more months of movies, so who knows what that's going to be. But yeah, if you really want to see this movie, you'll probably really enjoy it for what it is. Joaquin Phoenix really is the standout of this film. The performances are great. The visuals are nicely done. The direction is very nicely done. It is interesting to see comedy directors do like these dark, sadistic movies like this, because we saw that with Paul Feig last year with The Simple Favor. Yeah, it's a great movie. Definitely go check it out.